We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Ooh-wee. Terence Crawford is taking no shorts, taking no shortcuts, taking no chances, and taking no losses when it comes to baby, you want baby, I know that. Canelo Alvarez, the boy Bud Crawford, is looking in shape. Special edition, Ego Weight Watchers. We gotta talk about it. Bud Crawford bulking up, moving up. What can I say? So it should be a good video. I will break down and let you know what's going on in the world of boxing. But good news, Bud Crawford looks to be taking the fight very seriously. And that's what I want to see from somebody who's taking this leap of faith, if you will, and moving up all this weight. So that's what I will uncover in this video. Now, your boy Ego, I've been on record. I've said the same thing, and I still feel the same way. You know, I don't think muscles win fights. I am definitely a fan of moving up in weight, but doing it in the right way. Terence Crawford is not doing that. He's breaking really all the boxing rules. He's breaking all the rules, but we'll see. We'll see if it serves him well in September. I do want you guys to take a look at Terence Crawford because he definitely is looking in shape. And, you know, Ego Weight Watchers, we got to talk about all that good stuff. So, Terence Crawford fighting in September against Canelo Alvarez. If you have not subscribed to Boxing Ego, you're bad, and that is why you don't know what's going on. But the fight, part of Riyadh season, will take place in September on Netflix. And again, I felt how I felt about this fight. Nothing has really changed. Bud is a great fighter. He's a gym rat. So I don't really expect anything else from Bud Crawford, but what we're seeing. But here's the picture. This is the picture, so you guys can see kind of a close-up. Bud is looking, he looking brolic, y'all. He's in tremendous shape. This is a recent picture of Bud Crawford working out, preparing for the Canelo Alvarez fight. And legs, you know, legs don't look huge, but he looks like he's getting top heavy, and he definitely bulking out. This is the biggest we've seen Bud Crawford. And it's funny because I remember when Bud moved to welterweight, some people were scared, like, oh, Terence Crawford, how is he gonna do at welterweight? And I was always saying, like, I didn't really understand those comments because he had height. I had met Bud. I covered several Bud's fights in the lower weight classes, like at 135 or whatnot, 140. So I didn't see a problem at all with Bud moving up in weight. I was like, this is going to be not easy, but kind of. Because here's the thing. In boxing, when you have skill, moving up in weight is definitely more manageable and more doable. That's one thing, which we know Bud definitely has skill. So he has skill on his side. That makes the transition easier at the very least. And because at least if you're a skilled fighter, you have the wherewithal, you kind of know what to do if you're hurt, you know how to operate and, you know, just overall conduct yourself as a fighter. And skills, like, here's the thing with skills. If you have real skill, real talent, it really doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't go away from you. right? Like, for example, I'm a YouTuber. Over the years, I've developed and increased and worked on my skill. I already had these skills before I was even doing YouTube. Rapping, talking, speaking on the mic, entertainment, acting, editing, right? I was already doing these things since a kid. So YouTube only helped polish these things because now I'm putting out content for a decade plus. So you get even better. I've done over 17,000 videos by myself, right? No help. I ain't jump off nobody back. So you kind of get good at things, and I was already good, if I'm being honest. So I get to hone my craft over the repetition, right? So that's a skill. If YouTube went away tomorrow, I can take the skills that I've acquired over the last 20 years, right? 20 plus years probably, right? And I could take these core skills no matter what. I go to a different platform. Editing is editing. It don't matter if I'm editing for Netflix, if I'm editing for boxing, if I'm editing for soccer. If you actually have the fundamentals and actually have skill, such as your boy Ego, then those skills, no matter what, translate. Like if I decided I want to start covering basketball, football, or whatever else, it don't matter because boxing is the hardest sport to cover anyway. It's niche. It's some things, if you don't, like a fighter push a fighter at the weigh-in, if you don't record it right the first time, you're not going to get another opportunity. He's not going to keep pushing the guy. The bodyguards get in the way and start to break it up and all that type of stuff. So it's one shot, one kill. So I'm in the most grueling, demanding sport. So I know for a fact that if I were to go to any other sport and let's say cover basketball, it would be no issue, right? Because I've already covered the hardest sport to cover, a niche sport, right? And if you're doing photography and you learn f-stops, the rule of third, aperture, right? All of these things, composition, framing, and now I'm getting real technical, but when you learn Photoshop and all that, it doesn't matter what industry I'm in, I can translate that. So the same goes for a great fighter like Bud is, these skills aren't going to leave you. Like even if you're at 168, you have the skill. And I told you, for me, for what it's worth, I never liked this fight. Never liked this fight at all. I've been very upfront with that. But I've always maintained the same thing, and it's not going to change. Terence Crawford is a more skilled fighter than Canelo Alvarez. I've always said that. Per capita, skill for skill, Crawford has more tools, better footwork, faster feet, and the fact that he's ambidextrous, the fact he never been beat, Canelo been beat arguably more times than his record shows, and so on and so forth. So for me, Crawford has always been more skilled. The only question here, and this is what I don't like, is Bud is quote unquote challenging himself and he's moving up all this weight, no tune up, one fell swoop, and he's giving up rehydration clause, weight. Canelo's a little bit younger, but I don't really care about Canelo being a little bit younger because to me, Canelo kind of old. And if you know, you know. Some people hear that and they're like, come on, Ego, that doesn't make any sense. How are you going to say Canelo's young, but he old? That's because you don't understand boxing, and I am boxing. That's why you don't get it. So for those that don't get it, what I'm saying is Canelo's been boxing since age 15. So he's like a old, whatever he is, 34 or whatever, he's an old 34 because he's been through fights with big punchers like Triple G 3 times. That takes a toll on you. He's been through several training camps. He's had the higher profile fights than Terence Crawford. So he's been more beat up in fights. Dimitri Bivol, the Lada fights, Triple G fights. He had, even back in the day, if you really know boxing, when he was fighting guys like Alfonso Gomez, Those were very difficult fights for Canelo. You know, he got rocked by Cotto's brother, Jose Miguel Cotto. The main Cotto that everybody knows gave him a decently tough fight. You know what I mean? So even though he's younger than Crawford, Crawford's more preserved because Crawford's resume is not as good, to be honest, as Canelo. And he's never been bullied in the same way that, I'm not saying Crawford is, I mean, Canelo's been all the way bullied, but what I'm saying is he's just been through, he's been through a better resume with tougher fights and losses and stuff. So really, this fight is not that compelling to me. The only thing that is compelling is I'll know in the first couple of rounds what the outcome will be. I truly believe that, because it's, to me, the only thing we should be looking at is, actually, let me take that back, because I said I would know in a couple of rounds. That's false. Despite how great I am, I won't know in a couple of rounds. I just thought about it, because you can, when you move up in weight, there's one like trick. When you move up in this much weight, you can feel great, look great for a couple of rounds, and then completely fade because you're not used to carrying this weight. So it is gonna, I'm not gonna know immediately, but I think I'll have some good answers. I think I'll have a good gauge. And basically what I'm saying is, it really boils down to how Crawford is looking at the weight. Like, does he look like the same Crawford? Does he look fast? Does he look agile and athletic? And has Canelo been able to hurt him? And how does he take a punch? That's really the main question here, is how Bud's chin and how he's responding to the shots early. Because if he's responding to the shots well and doesn't fade with the extra added weight, then it's going to be a long night for Canelo. Put it that way. But if he's fighting a different style than all of his other fights, because he gets in there and feels like Canelo hitting too hard, and, you know, Canelo's coming with too much pressure, and it don't look like the standard, but then, you know, he getting cooked. So we'll see. But again, I do like Bud being in shape. As a professional, as a fighter, that's all we can ask. You're already taking this fight. People think it's questionable. You know, get in the best shape possible and train your butt off and try to prove the naysayers wrong. That's kind of what Bud is out to do at this stage of his career. Now, being absolutely fair, I will say this: bulking up is cool, but bulking up, it don't really mean much. Like, I've seen it when Kell Brook was moving up to fight against,
yeah, no, guys, yeah, Maxes, guys, big dramas, punches, guys, tick, guys.
Right? When he was fighting Golovkin, it was the same thing. There was all these bodybuilding pictures, and somehow, some way, Kell Brook was looking way bigger than Golovkin. All these types of things. Kell Brook was also going to like some state-of-the-art training facility, sports medicine, and he was in like cryotherapy and oxygen chambers and all this stuff, sleeping with the Elephant Man Bones body, you know what I mean, the Elephant Man's bones, all this extra stuff. And then what? He did all right with Triple G, but then he got cooked when it was said and done. So I can't really get too high or too low on Bud being in shape. Again, Bud, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm not mad at it. It's nothing negative. You're supposed to get in monster shape and start looking like this, because if you didn't, it would look very questionable. So yeah, you're supposed to take it serious and sell the weight, but bulking up, we still don't know how you take a punch at this higher weight. That's the bigger question. You know what I mean? That's a tremendously big question, is how do you respond to getting hit by somebody who's been fighting up here at the 160 plus for pretty much a decade? Because all that gaining weight is cool, but really, how do you operate with that weight? How do you feel in the back half of the fight, where Canelo been carrying that weight? So he's even fought as high as 175. He knows what to do in the late rounds when he started getting tired a little bit with the extra weight, with 168 pound frame, with 175 pound frame. Bud don't really know that. Bud don't know, like, man, I'm in there with an elite person and I'm starting to get super tired and he hitting hard. How am I, how do I respond and how do I survive? It's different at the lighter weight classes. I promise you. That's why I've always said weight class matters. And I'm not going to change that. I firmly believe that. I believe weight class truly matters. And this fight could very well show that. But for Bud's effort, I give him credit. He definitely looks big. I've never seen him look quite so big. So that is good. And the flip side, I'm giving you the most objective, realistic commentary for this fight because I'm truly the best in the business and it's not even close. The thing is, Canelo's resume is aging like dog water. You couldn't stop Berlanga and then Hamza Shiraz stops him. You couldn't stop Munguia and then Munguia gets stopped by some random Frenchman. So if you go into this Bud fight treating Bud like a small fighter, I think that's a mistake. I think you got to train Canelo. If he like, I already don't like what I'm seeing from Canelo. He had baby showers and golfing and stuff like that. I promise you, if he is not locked and he's treating Bud like he just automatically can't take my power, then that's the wrong move in my opinion, because Bud is truly a special fighter and he's a pest. His style is like a pest. So he's really trying to prove a point and make this make sense for him. So it would be a huge mistake, in my opinion, for Canelo to just treat this like, oh man, he getting rocked easily because he's a smaller fighter. Because he is a smaller fighter, but he's also a special fighter. So you would want to prepare like you about to fight Goliath, and almost like you're like Canelo should prepare for a guy like Crawford because he does have the willingness to win, and he's shown you that throughout his career. He need to prepare for a guy like Bud. Like Bud's the bigger fighter. If he goes in there sleeping on Bud, like Bud can't hurt me. Have you seen? I've been hit by Triple G. All that stuff is a mistake, because when you sleep on your opponent, bad things happen. Berlanga, and I'm not comparing Canelo to Edgar Berlanga, but I'm saying for real, Berlanga, I think he truly thought it was sweet with Hamza Shiraz and he got packed up. So I know Canelo is a professional and he's been at the highest level. I'm just putting that out there. It would be a mistake to treat Bud like, oh, he a little guy, he can't do nothing with me, and like be overconfident. I don't believe in sleeping on your opponent I don't believe in underestimate, because when you underestimate, when you hesitate, these are all bad things in general. So look, Bud might do this to Canelo if he underestimated him and start hitting him with them exploded gloves from the Avanesian fight. So that's my time. Let me know what you guys think. But somehow, some way, Bud might end up in the end looking bigger than Canelo, because he's definitely looking brolic right here. He's looking brolic. For more videos like this, Ego Weight Watchers, I am often imitated but never duplicated. You guys know that. When I first started Ego Weight Watchers was a long time ago, like 10 plus years ago. There was nobody doing this till your boy Ego started doing this. Now that I'm doing it, everybody wants to do it. But just know I'm the originator, and I give you real boxing conversation. A lot of low quality content, people stuttering, stammering, reading cue cards, all that good stuff. Your boy Ego, I be one taking these videos. I make it look good. I make it look pretty. And I'm spitting facts when it comes to boxing. So for real breakdowns, quality, not just a bunch of clickbait, you already know to subscribe and all that good stuff. If you want to up your streams, you want quality videos like this, for streams, use StreamYard, link in the description. For videos, trying to grow on YouTube, vidIQ and TubeBuddy. I use all of those tools, so it could help you too. I'm over 300,000 subscribers and counting, and these are the tools I use. And now I'm sharing them because I want to see you guys win too. Link in the description. You don't have to use it. If you don't use it, it's not gonna hurt me because I'll be using it. You don't use it, I'll use it, and I'll keep getting these views. Deuces. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click